Alright then, so I've gone through the first game quite a bit actually. Here is Vermintide II, the sequel to it. Now, I'll note that basically from the start up here, I'll note that it's a little bit different from like the original game. There's no like, sort of like, you join into like, sort of like, in type of area type of, like, thing here. Like you have like sort of like a main menu here, which is a little bit different. There's also a prologue, which basically serves like as a tutorial, so you can basically like, learn the game itself. And from this menu, you can basically like switch to a hero based on B. So if I want to here, for example, it could be like, the Way Watcher here. And I can actually manage like what these bots are going to be like, in the game here. So I can make her basically, the thing right there. I forgot what this was. The handmaid. Alright, so that's basically like, the handmaid class for her, Krillian. So basically, sort of like, talk a little about like, the changes in this game, by the way. I'll note there's been like a lot of like, sort of like, between like the sequel and like the original game. There's been a lot of improvements basically like, how you can basically play the game. And essentially what you can basically do here is that you can basically like, be like, different classes for like the different characters. So you can be like the original Ranger veteran from like, Vermintide with like, Bard and Gorgazon. Or you can be like, an Armbreaker who's basically like, the guy with like a shield, heavy armor. Or you can be like, the like, helmetless like, slayers here. Which basically like, deal with like, accidents and stuff like that, and like, go to town like the enemies. Alright, so, and you can also basically like, manage basically how these like, these characters basically are like going to be arranged in like the, the battles. So, if I want to, I can have like, say Brian Gorgson basically be in my like, troop here. If I want to, I can have like, I can have like, Victor here as well. So I can like, move him basically up here. Now he's basically gonna be like the second bot priority. So, if like, someone joins my game and they aren't like, Victor basically, then like, well, here's how it works. Basically, I have like, Gorgson, Saltspire, and Krillian basically here for the first three characters. If someone basically joins and they like, aren't basically like, Victor here, for example, or like Gorgson, they'll basically replace like, first the elf. The second person who joins, if they basically aren't like, Barn over here, they'll basically like, replace Victor. And if the final person basically comes in to like, replace the last like, Bot obviously have, but basically it changes around like, how you can have like, different bots in this game, which is like, an interesting little perk. You can actually change like your equipment and stuff like that. So I'm not basically right here. If I go to like, the elf here, she's basically currently like wielding a spear. But I want to actually change her around so she actually has like a different weapon here. So let's say like, okay, I actually have her like using dual swords here. But let's just say like I decide like, let's just have her like use a glaive. This is like, the original like, DLC weapon for like the first Vermintide. And I currently basically have her using like, having strut bow, so she basically uses like her poison attacks basically and stuff. But we can also set their talents, so you can basically like, set like what talents they basically have. And there's actually something well, they sort of like did differently for like, the second like, game. Basically like, each like the like, different like, characters have their own like talent trees. Though some talents are basically always the same. And the idea here is basically like, you can go about like, changing how these guys basically work. So basically Spirit Echo dance multiple enemies in one swing with a melee weapon gear and it's like, temporary health. So basically she actually said multiple damage to get health for it. She basically gets like killing blows, so basically, also restore if you want to go that sort of route. Basically, like, kill more, basically get like, healing from that, basically, or temporary health for areas. Focus Spirit over here basically gives me like, if she goes like 10 seconds without taking damage, she has like, she basically like, gets increased in power. So basically, like, she avoids damage, she gets powerful. If I want to basically increase her like, strike chance, so basically like, she basically has like a higher chance to like, critical strike. Blocking attack or pushing grants Krillian two next strikes speed and power, so it's basically like, up your damage if you want to. Let's say get that for her maybe. I'm not by the way as well. Each of the characters they have like, different sort of like, like special abilities as well. So I'm not basically like, for like Krillian here, who's basically a handmaid. She basically has like this dash ability, which basically has to like move forward, like, to escape like through enemies and stuff like that. She also has like traits basically as well, so she has this perk like, renewal. Basically has like, increasing stamina regeneration when like, she's basically not doing anything. Aurelia is like Bellison, so like, she basically increases her revive speed, so basically like help out her allies faster. So she basically the person that brings up like her primaries faster. And just be like say opposed to like say the shade here, which basically has the ability to go invisible for a little bit, do like double damage behind people. It has like blur here, so you basically parry attack and quickly reset her stealth for like a short period basically. And then, of course, there's like the real the original Waste Stalker. She just goes bound like her path even more, being the typical arrow firing elf. I think I'll keep her on handmaiden for now. I like the handmaiden. All right, so I think for now this is jumping with say let's see here. Yeah, we'll jump into Marcus Kruber. So basically, I haven't actually played like Marcus Kruber, so he's at level 1. Note that all these characters have like different levels they can be at, so Salt's basically like my our character basically have like low level whatever. Basically they start like level 1 these guys and you have like only one outfit to speed. So basically right now he's the mercenary. He doesn't actually have like any armor booster and stuff like that. So his abilities right here is basically space strikes. He basically hits 3 enemies with one swing. Basically grants them attacks, increased attack speed. Morale boost. Marcus grants nearby allies 25 health and staggers nearby enemies, so he does like a special ability. So as opposed to say like the shade where it has go invisible, or the hammer basically dashes forward, or even her Waste Stalker form over here of curling basically a massive volleys of arrows basically against enemies in here. This is he's like a support character basically he boosts up his health of his friends staggers nearby enemies to give him a little room space so to speak. There's his perks basically attacks sleep from multiple enemies. No more laughing now. Increases critical chance by 5%. So let's take Marcus Kruber here for a little bit. Now, I'll note that basically, just starting out by the way, you only have your basic weapon for these guys here. And you don't have access to any talents at this start here, so we only have access to say the blunderbuss here, which is basically his close range weapon. His two-handed great sword here. As you basically play missions, you'll basically get experience a little up. You'll get access to more of his weapons. You'll get access to other stuff as well. By the way, you can also get access to spoils of war. I haven't actually spent any money yet, but this is something this is part of tied to the reward system. I'll play through the mission again, see what that's all about in a moment, but let's get to that when we get to it. Because there's rewards for other runs basically done. Now before we go in, by the way, I'll note there's basically sort of different sort of quest system basically going on for this game here, where as opposed to the original game, which basically had its you basically go through and you basically do a specific challenge for a specific mission. This is a little bit more less tied to specific missions and more tied to specific characters or basically specific tasks for just for your run throughs. So right now I can set two challenges here, a quick play mission and retrieve tome. So we have basically 3 or 4 tomes right now. We have 2 or 3 quick play missions right here. There's also a weekly mission you can basically do with you complete the weekly event, whatever. And you can see basically how long stuff resets here. So basically my quest here we reset in 7 hours and 22 minutes. My weekly quest will basically reset in 3 days and 7 hours. The event will basically reset in 3,000 days and 4 hours apparently. By the way, there's also challenges over here as well. These are sort of if you ever played Left 4 Dead, by the way, there's achievements you basically could do, and it is sort of tied into that sort of idea, but you don't get achievements for it. Essentially, for example, I go to let's go through my heroes here basically. You basically have unlock a talent point, each level 3 on all characters, complete all missions on certain difficulty and stuff like that. Very straightforward basically stuff here. You also have enemy type achievements, so you can basically rescue an ally hosted by Packmaster. Push a gutter runner off a palace ally.
While I remember,
etc.
Alicia was looking for you, Kruber.
Tal, I asked you to keep that woman away from me.
By the way, these guys still talk to each other, so.
Blessed Sigmar. Someone set the Black Grail loose in Bretonia. I thought we'd put a stop to that.
But yeah, basically, you can talk to people if you want to. Alright, so let's go jump into a quick mission so you guys see what the gameplay is basically all about here. So, I'm not basically there's weekly events and stuff like that. You have sort of a Twitch type of thing here where you can jump in with your Twitch players if you want to have boons or dunes. There's heroic deeds basically which are part of a DLC. there's custom games, but they're basically like, you know, the original like, you know, way of like basically playing it. So, you know, like the original game, you just like, select the mission, you like select it differently, and just go from there. So that's like something you basically do here if you want to. And there's like quick play, which is basically what I'm basically doing here. So basically, you play a random mission with like a bunch of rewards. This is a quick way to basically find a party. So it's nice like you're like joining into like, you know, someone else's party, or like a host new one yourself.
Gelt made himself a wall of magic and faith.
So basically, we'll start a search range, find a game, we'll connect to it. And apparently, we can't play with Marcus Crew because someone's basically already playing with Marcus Crew over here. So I could basically like, you know, cancel this to try like, you know, play Marcus Crew. We're gonna like jump into Victor's Sauce Party here or Trillion or something like that. And no problem can, as well, can actually like, you know, select who basically want to be. So it can be like, you know, the original like Bush Hunter can be like, you know, this guy right here. But if you time out, basically like, you know, kicks you out, you just like, you know, jump into like, you know, another one.
Time's arrived to shut that bloody Skittergate down for good. Rasknit's off whipping his horde into a frenzy.
And apparently we're gonna jump into the Skittergate, which is basically the final mission of this game, by the way.
On guards. I know you won't like the sound of this, but to truly destroy it, you are gonna have to use the bloody thing and get your asses to Norska. Once there, we have a plan, thanks to Alicia's magical espionage. So calm down and listen good.
Well, let's just like join someone else here, I guess. Get my like, you know, mission here done.
Use the back door.
Alright, so we're basically in a game with someone else, basically like someone called, you know, DFuxa, I guess.
It's up there!
So that's actually on the path up here, so whatever. Now, I'm not basically with special enemies, by the way. We actually hear like a new one around us.
I wonder where they're at. Eyes open.
Just take him out. The elf is like way up ahead, as you can see, by the way. You can see her like outline basically on my thing here, so we got a little ways to catch up to their player, but it's fine.
The docks. That's where we find the entrance. Oh, I see. Just as well. Tolerate anything else.
Well, for those basically like, you know, veterans that you're gonna know what the sound of like, you know, that clear basically is, so, like, you know, rasping voice and stuff like that.
Ash, move quickly, lumberboots, unless you want burning to ash.
Just saw a backstabber! Ammunition, Dory!
That's like a new special base right there, by the way. It's like, you know, that stuff happening right there.
Caution, here.
Alright, so.
Listen,
I'm not the objective here, I'm not really like, you know.
Assassin rat!
Oh, nice. The bot basically killed off, like, you know, the assassin there. I thought that the bots basically are probably just as good as, like, you know, the modded ones, and, like, you know, the original game, by the way, for those who play with mods. Now, you decide, like, a special play for this guy, by the way, like, you know, Victor. He basically has, like, a, you know, buff boost up your guys' material damage and everything.
The troll's vulnerable. Enjoy this moment, mayflies.
Be close, hook rat!
That's my special play, by the way. So I just knocked him back in, like, you know, something right over here.
That troll rules more than the door.
Someone shot that brother up! Fire! That's gonna come! Last one's the only one that counts! Not sure the troll would agree.
Alright, well, we kill off the, like, you know, damn thing.
The unmistakable unspeakable
Sweet
aroma
tall
of
of
rot
fire
men
rat.
artifice
Now, note
and
that like
flame
Battle
as
Troll, by the way,
well.
was basically like one of like the sort of like monsters in this game. I don't think like the original game you had like
you're
rat
getting the
ogres,
knack of
where
this
basically
truly.
pound out like you know just when you basically appear, but you know.
I'm wiping my wounds.
Now instead of like rat trolls, we have like a whole slew of like monsters you can use, including like that battle troll we just basically fought right there.
Imbibing a potion.
And I'm not about like there's like different like sort of strategy based to play this game, or like basically someone's basically handling the troll, while I basically handling the ads basically. So teamwork's still like a thing in this game, by the way, just for just for those basically wondering if it's is or not.
No more kills for you, assassin.
I'll reload just now. There's a quick little play of this mission here, basically. There's no special enemy right there, by the way. I'll note that, like, in this game, by the way, there's actually, like, sort of like two tiers of special enemies. You basically have, like, special enemies that can, like, sort of like counter teams, something like idea. Basically,
We got the leech, mates.
you basically have, like, specials where basically, the rat vermin, or storm vermin, which basically, have, like, heavy armor, like, get hit their heads. And you basically have, like, the, like, upper tier special enemies, basically, like, the rat assassin, the, like, the pack master, stuff like that, basically, special things to you. So you have to watch out for, like, the type of enemies basically fight, because, like, they do different things. So this guy's basically special. He, like, throws, like, flames at you, basically, is what it's all about.
I loathe bombs, but I loathe the enemy even more.
By the way, you can still, like, do sort of a whole thing. You have to, like, use really specific after, so thing.
Where's the skill?
By the way, we basically have, like, a rush here, basically. So much like, first time we have, like, four, so basically there's basically, like, two types of facts of the fight one. Basically, allied to each other, so you have, like, Morphin and, like, Dragon, so.
That's right, Kruber. Let your training show.
Oh,
Mind that. Re-grabby one.
So yeah, basically that's the pack master who grabs you still.
It's this way. Gatekeeper, show yourself. We'll make it a quick and painful death.
I think that's a Globadeer.
Nope, we got ourselves the Globadeer, so that's basically one of the original enemies basically from the base game. On the by the way, a lot of these, like, base specials actually improved a little bit, so
Drakira's name is in this
on the, like, the
bottle.
Ratman Gunner is a lot more, like, keen to actually shoot you as opposed to, like, just, like, wind up his gun constantly. And you basically have the Globadeers who are, like, more keen to, like, sort of run after you as opposed to, like, just walk around. Like, the Globadeers will literally, like, walk after you, so, like, they come to you.
Scum of the North, the hour has come for you, your clan, and your putrid pact.
Globadeer is big.
My lungs!
Dodge away! Blackfire!
Oh, knocked off for a little bit. This guy's armored, so.
Blackfire! On its way!
Oh, that's a waste.
Well, that was something I hadn't seen up close before. No matter, where's the keys? Bombs for all here.
Oh, that went pretty well. Is that a tome? That was indeed a tome. Or that's a Ravage Art. Okay, never mind. I know the Ravage Art is basically sort of like your lore in this game, I think. but whatever. Now, no problem. I'm not like as like well versed in like this game as opposed to like the other ones. So, I don't know where all the tomes basically are, on all the missions basically, or like where all the like grimoires basically are. That's still like a pack master can have just go that way. I know that much.
That rat's got a reach, all right. We got the hot rash. You're zooming and the dirty one.
Sounds like now we're sorcerers.
Have a care! That's a chaos warrior!
There's a chaos warrior. Somewhere down there. These guys probably are a lot tougher than like staggers like that, so. Staggering was a lot more difficult as opposed to like, the other like weaker guys. Up we go, I guess. Now, I'll note by the way, just for we're running around here. I'll note down the bottom, you can basically see like my sort of health, my like sort of special bar. My special bar being purple and like the health bar being like white or like green. The white basically indicates my temporary health is basically decreasing right now.
Strangler!
Hold on, mayflies. I'm going to drink.
Alright, the key is basically the scare gas located here.
Wretches, I have scores to
Now, not
settle.
by this being like the final like fight, we
Now,
basically have like sort of like show like what this game like offers entirely. So it sounds like running around and feel like your mission objectives. You also have like sort of boss fights, and a lot of that basically at the end. Actually, we have like a mini boss fight like early on, but I'll have like a second like real boss fight at the end of this like mission here. Nobody's are objectives we have to like blow up. So
Shatter the regulators on their boots. Then be ready to
there
run.
it goes. Rats a little bit. Apparently past the potion concentration, that's fine.
The gate is failing. If we are to escape, it must be now. Go!
Drink the potion.
Not before tide. So, fortune favors the fool. I'd see you first, Maeve.
So not only did like the main justice game was that basically have like sort of skitter gate, and basically like it's like it's like a prologue, basically like lets people like go for like different areas. So you're basically jumping from like the Empire like place down to like
feels like I was
place
turned
back.
inside out and then back again. But I'm still standing and I'm ready for an ale, so who bloody cares?
Oh, here's like the final boss fight. So here's the arena. And I'm not the main antagonist of this game is the same one as like the past one, but unlike the past one.
Sabotage my runaway hero. You escaped them, but now return to roost. First, please kill no first. To me! We have less feet to rest.
So here's the boss.
Aye, we did it! I confess! We touched your beloved gate! And off scores upon scores of your rat! You cannot escape judgment! Yeah! We killed them! Elf, is this the time, really?
This is where the elf like back By the way, the Green Secretary is basically off this guy now. So, I'm gonna try and get the attention of this guy while like, Elf goes after him.
Then you can stop us. You're welcome to bloody strong.
Oh, this guy's out of the kill.
Your master summoned.
Oh, Gracie is back on top of him. That's Gracie Racy up there, by the way. Actually blocked that one.
Shooting flash, it is fruitless. Unleash your arsenal on the Storm King. I can hear too.
Knock this back a little bit.
You are nothing sensible, what? Oh, yeah.
Potion.
Take that out.
Oi, over here! Take your best shot! Right here! Give me a good shot! Not
Strike them down.
Knock this back a little more.
Sears got the saddle lumber boots. Make the most of it.
Oh, back we go. Up these guys.
Heal, Dwarf. Or you'll soon be dead.
Reviving skill thing, so he's up.
That's your
Alright, so at this point, Racer, we're down to like the final boss. Like this guy right here is like the guy right here. Alright, some of these guys can carry shields now, so you got a shield right here. Back we go a little bit.
Give me a feel! My grandmother hit hard of that! Try again!
Okay.
Good try, Jory! Now let's have another! Don't let me die with my boots on! I'm ready for them, Gringerati!
That goes the wrong again. His attacks, by the way, are very reminiscent of like the first boss from like, the original game. Like the Chieftain. Guys here.
Grease means my time. No stop.
Almost got him. There he is. So at this point, it's assuming like a sort of like chaos run here trying to kill us.
Shield rats.
There he goes.
Mayflies, I can't deny it. That was worth it. Now look on this
Well,
mangy
you basically have a good glimpse of what this game is basically all
face.
about. You have like different changes to stuff, and like
Check it out.
you have boss battles, you have special still, you have like more like enemy facing a fight. By the way, this is very reminiscent of like the enemy of Vim, where like classic tunnels and stuff like that. So basically have to like sort of like find a path, take it, take all their passes, basically go get out here. Basically, it's an epic run of your pretty life thing.
Yeah! Gorickson, you should hear.
By the way, if you look at Borkson, he's like, you know, in a white part of his state. So much like the original game, like, you know, get like, you know, completely injured, like, you know, you basically start losing health, like, you know, you heal up really good. I should probably know by it's like really recruit difficulty, which is like, you know, the start difficulty for this game. I'm not by basically got rid of like, you know, the sort of like, you know, easy, normal, hard, nightmare, Black Castle, like the police one before. And all the things basically help don't work now basic play, so starting out like, you know, like this like basic guy, like, you know.
More merry thunder, mayflies.
It's still difficult as you
The
see
gate
here,
is
like
down
you do it
for
differently
good.
because like, you know,
Aye.
you don't have like any equipment stuff to make yourself like, you know, awesome
This
stuff like
way.
that. Oh, this part basically has like a cliff drop down and we're like, you know, run across the top of it.
Aye. The weave reclaims that which was sundered.
So here we go, we're gonna escape. And that's basically how we escape. We have these like, you know, ports basically coming in from. Alright, so here's what basically the victory scheme basically works like. Basically, you see like the mission we completed. We see like, you know, our victory basically for it. And I'll note basically like, you know, as a breakdown here. Note that basically right now we basically have like sort of like experience basically as before. But it's based on like what we basically collected. So we have like, you know, loot, we have like, you know, stuff like that. There's basically unlocked basically for my experience here. So we've got some like, you know, a chest, we got ourselves a halberd. There's an recommendation chest. We didn't get too much experience, which we didn't really find any books, but whatever. Now, for loot basically here, I'll note that like how it basically works. If you have like tomes and gems, it basically upgrades the box pieces you get here. Which is basically very similar to like, you know, what happened like the first game, but you know, as opposed to like having like say a dice better stuff, this basically makes it so you have better stuff. So basically got ourselves a solar strong box, basically like, you know, an upgrade like, you know, box here. Here's like a breakdown like what basically happened for like our stuff here, so you can see like most revives, you can see like, you know, our damage basically dealt and stuff like that. So basically like, you know, the elf dealt a lot of damage here. Total kills, special kills, stuff like that. You can return to keep if you want to. This is like, you know, exit to like, you know, main menu, I guess, or whatever. I think that we like, you know, she left the party there, but whatever. Alright, so now basically like you can see on like the right, we can see like a breakdown of what we basically have. So you have like new equipment, new items, new spoils of war.
Oh, what about this heat wave?
So not because like we have like a like, you know, objective stuff over here, we're gonna like go to quests, and there's like, you know, a claim reward type of thing. So I know rewards by in this game. You get like shillings, you get like, you know, you get like shillings basically for like rewards and stuff like that, but you also get like, you know, books and stuff as well. So there's like, you know, something you basically get like book. So Emperor's Coffers. Let's just carry this reward here. So there's a handful of shillings. So I'll note by the way, they actually did like something very distinct about this game by the way. I'll note that in like the original game, like, you know, the customizable like, you know, like sort of cosmetics where you basically have, it was sort of like, you know, separate from like the like, you know, it wasn't really separate from like the like, you know, the other like rewards you can basically get. But here basically you actually have like, you know, cosmetics that are like separate. So basically you get like shillings here. You can use like your shillings like to buy stuff. So this all requires basically stuff basically to get, but whatever. Basically you have like, you know, shillings up here you can use to like, you purchase like, you know, cosmetics and stuff like that. Alright, okay, so like, you know, here's like basically you get. So there's basically always like different like, you know, types of like, you know, customized like, you know, weapon styles we basically have. So Solar's Maze, the Sergeant's Maze, Moore's Deliverer, etc. And you can basically like, you know, spend like your shillings to acquire like the stuff to like, you know, sort of like outfit how your basic character looks and stuff like that with like the shillings you basically find. As opposed to like, you know, sort of like, you like you of course basically pick it up and stuff like that. Now, no, by the way, in here you also have like, you know, other stuff as well. So you know, have like, you know, pay like my basically type of thing if you want to, but you know, whatever.
Maybe it's for the best.
Now, before I basically like, you know, end this, I'll note just like the spoils of war here. So I'll note the spoils of war, and I haven't really been opening these up for a reason, but you know, basically the spoils of war, you basically open them up. Each exists in like 6 different tiers for each different level, and each tier increases the chance of receiving items of higher quality and power. The chests guarantee at least one equipment item, and please note that opening chests will generate loot for your currently selected hero. So basically, I haven't really chosen like what hero I basically want to like basically play with because like I'm playing like this game to like see what all the characters basically do. And I'm not basically like maybe I'll like want to use like Marcus Gruber in the future and stuff like that, but I'm not like yet really sure. By the way, I can actually like select this new weapon here if I want to. So there's like the halberd race if I want to right there. You still got the blunderbuss, but it's fine. So now I suppose like the great story of like this halberd. So basically I gotta like poke people. Swing around like mad. By the way, it's worth noting in this game to actually have like pole arms at this time around as opposed to like the past game. I'm knowing like the past like Vermintide, they didn't like the enemies got like 2-handed weapons like just poke pretty far, but you didn't really have like like the poking sticks and stuff like that. So they actually have like very like high range weapon like the halberd here. You get like long range pokes if you want to with it. It doesn't really matter compared to like the
So,
other thing or whatever.
give any thought to that little proposition I made?
Yeah, well, not yet. Bit busy for the foreseeable, ain't we?
And yes, they still talk to each other. Alright, so I haven't really done this, but I know that I basically have a whole bunch of these chests basically here. So I have like, the Merchant's chest right there, the Emperor's like coffers, Emperor's strongbox, and stuff like that. So we got ourselves a commendation chest here. Let's just open up like 5 of them perhaps. So basically how like the chests work, they basically give you just like options to like get stuff. So you get like say an Art's Charm here, so maybe it's like increase our power here a little bit, get like increased power versus infantry for example. I give like the sword and shield over here, so this gives me like a new weapon type basically to use as opposed to like the other one we basically have. So the shield bounces ever so slightly off, not something inexperienced would notice, but seemingly evident for a veteran. So basically it's like this basically gives me increased critical power and stuff like that. Here's basically like in our charm here, it basically gives me like increased power versus like an infantry. So very similar to this one over here. Now, note that power basically plays a big role in like how you basically do stuff basically in this game. By the way, it was like I opened up 5 of these, I guess. So like there's all stuff here and stuff like that. Note that they all have like different tiers of like wealth. So this has like green stuff, this has like white. So I get basically like new halberd for example. I want to. We've already got halberd, so it doesn't really help me that much, but whatever. There's a trinket. I guess it's like actually better than my current halberd by the way by a little bit. So there's that, whatever. So this has like 23 power, as opposed to like 5. There's a sword over here.
See, I quite like this place, but the acoustics do amplify singing. Sigmar knows I've nothing against singing, but not first thing in the morning. It reminds me, I need to lock up the air.
Alright, so I know by the way I just picked up some stuff there. So I know there are like the jewel's necklace here basically and stuff like that. We have like all these like new weapons and stuff like that we basically use. So I want to like there's a jewel's necklace. There's like the one I have equipped now. Here's basically all the charms basically I just picked up. So power versus armored. There's like mirroring a seal. There's a knight's ring. Marshal's ring. Now, I think I want more power against like armor and stuff like that, so let's put this right here, I think. Now, let's see, we got Dwarven Wellstone, we got like, curse resistance, that's not bad, so let's put that on right now. Oh, note that because like, I don't actually have like, certain classes for it. These are like the Huntsman class as opposed to like, the Mercenary class I am right now, the bows, so we can't use bows in this character, like this current class character. I should probably go into more detail a little bit about that, I guess, before like we like come off, I guess here. So that's the thing I'll probably do. By the way, all this stuff basically has like different stuff that you basically do. So this halberd, for example, basically has like armor piercing, so we basically pierce armor fit with it. Basically, like the long sword and shield basically is good for fast attacks, wide speeds, and like powerful blocks. I should probably note by the way, it's worth noting that each of these weapons they have like different like changes to them, like as opposed to like the veteran like the original like Vermintide weapons. I'll note that like a lot of stuff will still be the same, like the attack time for like this sword here is basically the same and stuff like that. But if you do like charge attacks with it, for example. Note for example we're actually like using our sword now a little bit, so we actually like, you know, throw in our swords now as opposed to just constantly shield bashing. Which makes sense. That's like, you know, something that would probably happen. But anyway, like keep the halberd. I think I like the halberd for like this, like, you know, setup here for this guy right now. Alright, well, yeah, basically look like you have like sort of like, you know, restrictions and stuff like that for your characters. Let's jump in right here with the elf for a moment. So I'll note that like it's restrictions to your weapons and stuff like that. Note that basically for like, you know,
Now,
waste stalker here.
Canadian, I don't like to complain, but could you not shoot at my couriers?
I'm giving them dodging practice, something they'll desperately need.
So yeah, I'll note that basically, you know, each of the characters they have like, you know, sort of restricted items that they can, you know, certain like classes they can't use. So I'll note basically like, you know, Weight Watcher, like, you know, Waste Stalker, like Krillin here. She can't use anything but bows basically, so this bow like crossbow is basically useless to her. But if it's like, you know, switch over to like, you know, the Shade here. The Shade being like, you know, the sort of like, you know, roguey type of character here, where you know, go like, you know, go down like, you know, double daggers and like that. She can actually use the volley crossbow. So, you know, some of these like weapons will be restricted depending on like, you know, what class you basically take for like your characters and stuff like that. But anyhow, let's just go back to like, you know, you. Alright, well, I'll probably play this game again in the future. Perhaps I'll show off like different difficulty like tiers and stuff like that. I'm not basically if I go to like, you know, custom game here. Basically, this from default, by the way, you basically have 4 different difficulties, by the way, and these basically are based on like, you know, what power like, you know, you basically have your character. So, not basically if you don't have the hero power, you can't actually like, you know, do like the missions. So that's sort of like how they like, sort of lop off these like missions now. So, as opposed to having like do say like a hard mission to like, get access to like the nightmare and like, you know, doing like nightmare to get access to like Cataclysm, you actually have to do like, you know, yeah, basically have to like, you know, get like this stuff like power, like, you know, boost up your character so you can actually like last in these like hard difficulties and stuff like that, basically. Extremely hard. 515 like to get Cataclysm, by the way. And no, by the way, Cataclysm is like locked off by DLC now. So if you want to play the hardest difficulty in this game, you have to have like a DLC for it. Now, overall, I want to probably like, you know, this like, you know, say a couple things about this game before like I sort of leave it here, I guess. I'm not basically I don't really consider like, you know, everything in this game better than like the current like, you know, the original like Vermintide I. Vermintide 2 did a lot, basically add a lot, and like, you know, it basically, like, you know,
Before you know, it'll be Geheimnisnacht all over again.
Alright, I'm just gonna go away from him a little bit more so he doesn't talk to us. So, I want to note that basically, compared to like, you know, Vermintide 1, there's a lot I basically like about Vermintide 2, but at the same time, I don't like as well. Like, they basically changed a lot of like these weapons to like, you know, be different, and you'll basically see like, you know, there's like different like, you know, little picks and twerks between like the weapons and how they like sort of like differ between like the first like, you know, game and the second one. I'm not basically like jump into like, say like, you know, Sienna for example, who is basically like, of course, like, you know, the mage in like this game. I thought for a moment I actually might want to play like Sienna, but I found out like, you know, their beam staff for like, you know, the wizard here is like, you know, been changed, and I'll basically show off how. Oh, that's a different like, you know, staff. Why was there's like, you know, you basically have like sort of like, you know, flamethrower type of staff type of thing here. But yeah, I'm not to actually change around like the bolt staff and like the beam staff from the base game. I'm not basically like the base game. When you basically like, you know, held down the left mouse button, you basically do like your sort of like, you know, basically like, you know, get off me type of like attack like that. I'm not that actually sort of invert like the keys basically for like, you know, the base game and like the original game. So as opposed to being like, you know, like, you know, you hit left mouse button and like you constantly you like say like this. They actually changed it instead to like so like, you know, if you hit like the left mouse button, it basically, you know, does the beam instead. And it basically throws me off basically how they basically, you know, change some of these weapons basically like that. So that's something I really don't like about like, you know, Vermintide like, you know, 2. And while we're at, let's just like, you know, change it back to like, you know, the pro thing here. So I know that's the weapon I basically used before. The thing's for staff, by the way. So I think it has to be charged up this weapon, by the way. So you gotta do like a massive like amount of damage, by the way. Alright, so hero select. Now, besides like the fact that they changed around a lot of the weapons, another thing I really didn't like about this, like, you know, the second game basically, is the fact that like, you know, how can I put this? they actually changed it around so like, you know, the specials and like the like enemies basically were like, you know, less threatening basically as a result of like some of the things they basically did. Although like the gutter runner basically from the original game was always terrifying because basically like, you know, you didn't know where it's basically coming from because they like, you know, you could hear a voice, but you weren't like giving sort of like, you know, a directional like, you know, vibe to where it's basically coming from. So they could be behind you, they could be in front of you. Unless you saw them, you didn't actually like, you know where they're coming from. You just knew they were there. They actually made it so, like there's actually now like a directional vibe to like the, you know, the gutter runners now in like the second game. So if you hear them from the left, they're from the left. You know that's where they're coming from. So you actually can actually pinpoint their locations now a little bit. So it's something that's sort of like, you know, I really don't like. I do like the fact that they changed around like the rallying gunner though, because like, you know, now it's like actually threatening a little bit because when you basically have like the rallying gunners basically pop in, you actually see one here. But when the gunner basically pops in, they don't like start cranking up their gun to like fire at you. They immediately start firing it right from the get-go. And when they basically stop, that's when they like start cracking it, like, you know, like they did before. There's also some like other like specials that are like sort of like, you know, kind of annoying basically to fight as well. But you know, that's part of the game. There's gonna be like annoying specials, gonna be fun specials and stuff like that. You know, they all like do their sort of thing. So some specials I don't like the gutter runner, but you know, others they did pretty well. So it's like, you know, I like it a little bit, but you know, whatever. Um, I don't like the fact that they actually locked a lot of stuff behind DLCs still, by the way. So another thing in like the base game, by the way, when you basically play like Vermintide I, and like, you know, you had like the main game, you didn't need to buy any DLCs for that one because like, you know, if you didn't have the DLC for it and if someone did, you guys could join every person, like, you know, get a lot of benefits from doing that. Here they basically have it so like everything's locked off unless you have a DLC for it. So with Winds Imagine, for example, like that's a DLC that lets you get Calism difficulty. It also like unlocks a bunch of other stuff for you to basically play with as well. And you know, it's something like the note, by the way. Like, you know, unless like you like want like, you know, shed out money basically for this game, you're probably not gonna like find like, you know, you're gonna like, get all the content. So I might like, you know, throw like a few dollars through the DLCs and stuff like that myself. But you know, it's not like something that, I'm very like enticed basically to do, as opposed to like the first game, which is like, you know, this is fun. I don't need to like, you know, have my friend basically buy like the DLC so I can say, you know, invite him along. But here it's like, you know, I think you might actually have to buy the DLCs or else you're like, you know, your content blocked basically. So it's not that great, but whatever. All right, I'm probably gonna play this game with my friend at some point with like, you know, you guys basically walks. But you know, for now, I think we, you know, we've basically seen enough. So I hope you guys basically enjoyed and take care.